Welcome to NC Political Tea, the show where North Carolina's political scene gets served piping hot, grassroots style. We're here to shake up the status quo with unapologetically conservative takes and a whole lot of Southern charm. From the halls of Congress to under the dome, we're exposing the deals, the drama, and the dirt that the mainstream media won't touch. Who's fighting for your freedom? Who's selling out to the woke mob? And who's about to get roasted? No fluff, no filters, and absolutely no time for spineless politics. Just bold Republican commentary, sharp analysis, and enough sass to make the left squirm. So grab your sweet tea or something stronger, and let's dive into the hottest headlines and juiciest scandals rocking the Tar Heel State. This is NC Political Tea, where the truth always gets served.
Hey, yeah, the truth always gets served, right, Margot?
Always. And sometimes you may not like it.
You might not like it.
It's cold here. I'm just going to let you know it's 18 degrees. I'm watching my friends in Pensacola freeze and have snow. This is the camo night, and I do not care.
We don't care. We don't give a damn. But I'll tell you, it's all good. You know why? Because Trump is your president.
That's right. Donald Trump is my president, and he has not forsaken Western North Carolina. We'll talk about that later.
Definitely not. But look, here's how it opened up. It was very provincial yesterday. Soaring rhetoric. It was great. Check it out.
To stop our cause, have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
Now, you know who's going to be pissed?
What, every atheist?
That's right. Well, there's a big cultural divide in this nation. I don't think it's as much political anymore, but it's people that actually believe and people who don't.
Well, listen, I hate it for them because we all know where they're going and I know where I'm going.
Well,
but I'm still going to pray for them.
That's what a good Christian does, y'all. You pray for your enemies.
That's right. You don't have to like them, but you have to pray for them. That's what my grandma told me.
Well, apparently Jews let them out of jail, let them kill us and out of jail. But anyway, I digress. So it was such a great statement because it's a sense of like provincial order across the globe. And even if you're not a believer, it's hard to deny. I mean, we saw it with our own eyes. One turn ahead.
Well, right? It's not just that. I mean, I have to be excited. I'm sorry for the utterance, but do you know how many times yesterday there were prayers? Do you know it was truly a dawning in America because the prayers that were given, I think I counted 8 times they had prayers.
Really?
I think 5 at his speech in the rotunda. 5, 1 to open, 1 to close, and 3 in the middle, right? Am I right?
I mean, I wasn't counting, but I will tell you, God is put back in the public square, and it's just so central to the Judean Christian bedrock that is America. And when you think about those who want to destroy Western civilization, you have to do it with God, right? There's no God. It's the first step of communism. So I get it. I like it.
I'm down for it. I mean, I'll just say, when I was raising my daughter, one of the things that I learned really quickly is I wasn't raised, I wouldn't say in the church every day. My dad was in the military, so we went to a non-denominational church. But my grandparents here in Murphy, my grandma was a Sunday school teacher. And when we spent our summers, our holidays, our weekends with her, we never missed church. And when I brought my daughter here to raise her, and for one of the reasons was to be around her family, I felt it was really important to put her in church. And I'm glad I did.
Well, I mean, again, it's very central to the American way of life. It just that hearkening back. I mean, I loved his speech. It was soaring rhetoric, but then it got political. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what he promised. And the cool thing was, I mean, when you study rhetoric, how to write, how to do speeches, instead of starting off with big concepts that most people, let's quite frankly, get it out there, they don't believe it, right? Politicians promise all the time. He started with a specific, which, the specific EOs that he came out with, which was illustrative of the bigger concepts without, threading the needle. Executive order to make, we're not happy, are we? I don't know if we could go that far.
I wish we could, but it's not.
I wish
think
we
that's in the
could.
cards.
We're going to get close because, as you said, he did mention North Carolina. Check it out.
No longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people
Can't hear
of
that.
North Carolina.
Can't hear it.
Treated so badly.
Well, what he's saying is, for the people, he called us out. He said, look, for the people that are suffering in North Carolina and suffering badly, we're going to help.
Who have been forgotten by their own governor and their own, state, let alone Joe Biden and his sham people.
Well, I think what's going on is that we realize now that all this woke bullshit has an opportunity cost. And the opportunity cost is actually getting things done. Basic, rudimentary things like running FEMA, making sure that people that have a Trump sign actually get some help. Imagine that.
Well, like monitoring the water in a reservoir so we don't have a biblical flood in Western North Carolina, which was run by Democrats.
I love the biblical thing. I love the biblical thing we've got going, and it's so apropos. But this is Matt, all caps. He was here with us last week. Just so you know, Matt he's a Democrat. I don't think he's a Democrat, unlike a lot of other people that we know that just want stuff to work, right? So he came out today, and he's been keeping us up to date with what's going on in Western North Carolina. So the first thing, the Trump effect has taken effect, right? The FEMA vouchers have been extended. Is that correct?
Yes, it has. Now, it depends on when you got your voucher, but the latest round will make it all the way to Memorial Day. The good news is no matter what, everyone's going to make it to spring and close to summer.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like saying, okay, you can stay another 48 hours and you don't have a place to live. Now, for the first time, by no accident, right? FEMA was finally transparent and showed maps of the extent of the damage in Western North Carolina. 30,000 homes are uninhabitable.
Well, I think I think what this map really says is these are damaged, destroyed, and uninhabitable, and repairable, but still have damage to them. And that's what you're seeing here. But what really bothers me is this still isn't accurate. It's better than they've done because at least they're saying something. But, they don't count, like if you have to have your roof replaced and your insurance company takes care of it, that's not included in this, there was a lot of that. And so I think it's slightly misleading, but it's a good start. And I think we're going to have somebody coming in that's really going to get to the bottom of it.
That's right. But look, if you even have half of that amount that's uninhabitable, I mean, this is in LA. These people come from a very modest means. And now we're finding out Buncombe County, guys, if you're watching, this is in Asheville. Okay. So let's just imagine that and I think Buncombe was one of the most damaged counties,
yeah,
right?
I would say Buncombe, Henderson, Yancey, and Avery were probably the hardest, and Mitchell. I think those counties were absolutely, Madison was pretty devastated too, but if we were going to look at like damage, that's what I would say.
So they're paying, taxes, right? So if depending on how much your taxes are, look, if you're not getting anything from FEMA and you're paying for your own hotel or whatever, and then you're having to pay property taxes, it's just an added burden. And then Matt is saying here, Trump is visiting Western North Carolina, and our Democrat governor even came on and said, hey, it's a good thing that the president is going to Western North Carolina. So I think that's great. I mean, there's some early,
he has to say that because he's not doing it. So he's going to pass the buck off to the president because he came for MLK prayer breakfast, but did not care enough to bring the message that the president was coming. And he knew because I knew. So that's really kind of sad. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I mean, look, he's not going to be the kind of Democrat that's a Fetterman or my crush, Richie Torres. He's not.
No, he's going to stay down the party line and be as radical as he can.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we'll see. But for right now, there's some good feeling about it, et cetera. We won't get too too far into it. But so we're going to talk about some executive orders. We're going to talk about as many as
Before you get there, wait a minute. I do have to say, I'm very thankful for who Trump selected for the FEMA interim director. His name is Cameron Hamilton. He's a personal friend. I helped him in his campaign. His family lives here in Murphy. So I'm very confident he's coming to Western North Carolina. He's a former Navy SEAL. He has homeschools his kids. He rescues donkeys. He's a great guy, and I feel like he's coming.
Whoa! Rescues donkeys.
Yeah.
What?
He has young children, and they've got a donkey, and donkeys need other donkeys.
Where do you rescue them from? I wasn't realizing that this was.
Oh, there's a huge little subvert culture of donkey people who get rid of their donkeys, and they're donkey rescues. And he had one. You can't have one donkey without two, so he ended up with two, and I think he has three now, three or four. I can't remember.
This is very biblical,
isn't it? What a thing! I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, very much so. So that's good. Yeah, Gabe, you're so right. You guys your comments are coming in. We would be absolutely really behind the eight ball. So very grateful to Trump and his team. I mean, they are, putting us on the map. They're keeping pressure here. Very grateful for it. And really for the American people. I mean, he signed around 200 executive orders last night, right? By the way, one of the phrases that he said last night, I think it was great. It was soaring rhetoric, the kind of soaring rhetoric that we haven't heard since Clinton. Clinton also had a pretty kick-ass inaugural speech. He said, the impossible is what America does best.
Right. I think of the things he did in that speech that I liked is he made them sit there and have to watch him tell them all the trashy things they did to him to try to keep him down, and he still won. They tried to kill him. They tried to steal from him. They got in his wife's underwear drawer.
Wait, what?
Yeah, when they did the raid on Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, that's some. Wow.
The FBI did.
These are dirty Democrats. You never know what, right, Winona? They're dirty.
Dirty.
I don't like that. He's a big fan of the underwear drawer. Okay, okay, I'm keeping it. Listen, let's straighten up here. Okay, so let's go over the executive orders. Here's first and foremost, and we're going to have Representative Brian Echevarria come on and weigh in on this in just a second. But protecting American citizenship, really. I mean, there is no other country in the world that allows folks from different countries to go and have a baby, and then all of a sudden, they're all legitimate citizens. So really what this is doing is it's changing the focus of the 14th Amendment. As you know, there's a lot of, leeway in amendments, and it's up to case law, judicial interpretation, etc. So what he's saying here is that, look, by the way, this is a common sense definition. There's a clause in the 14th Amendment called subject to jurisdiction thereof. And he's saying, look, that clearly does not apply to foreign citizens. That's what he's saying here in this order. Right.
Well, that's not what Jeff Jackson thinks.
That's not what Jeff Jackson thinks. But the more amorphous question is, does Jeff Jackson think? And we will get into that later. But listen, this is a very common sense bill. It expressly excludes from birthright citizenship, follow me, children whose mother and father are illegal, whether it's visa overstay, they cross the border, whatever it is, or wait for it. Here's some radical stuff coming your way. Children whose mom is lawfully present, but temporarily under a visa waiver. So it's a work visa, a tourist visa, a diplomatic visa. We'll a variety of things.
It should be any visa.
Yeah. Okay. So Jeff Jackson, predictably, is a far-left Democrat. He won for AG election, have consequences. And now he's coming along and saying, I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue on behalf of the state of North Carolina for this not to apply. And so what I've done tonight is got on the phone with legislators, and I've asked Brian Echevarria to come in and really just talk about the financial aspects of it. Brian.
Hey, good evening. It's freezing. I'm doing amazing. It is great to be me. I'm in the greatest state, in the greatest nation,
Yes,
with
sir.
a magnificent family. So thank you for having me.
We're doing the Trump
Absolutely.
dance.
Yeah. Wait, how does that go again? I don't know the Trump dance. Okay.
Well, yeah, the Trump dance.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I dance well enough to do the Trump dance.
I got the Cabbage Patch on fleek. That I've got.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. It seems like a common sense law, etc. And I know that there was another law that was vetoed by the governor and actually was passed. We just passed it. Can you tell us if that may intervene?
Well, I was reading Senate Bill 382, and it appears that we could very well have a conflict. Now, I don't know Jeff Jackson very well. Okay, I understand, or it's my understanding that he supported my opponent in the primary. He doesn't know me, so I don't know why. But for certain, what we know is that there are almost 500,000 illegal immigrants in North Carolina, and that is a big financial strain. And I don't know that this is the wisest thing to do. For me, it's like, hey, what can we do to attack Trump? What can we do to make sure that America's not first? And I'm sad to say that our AG appears to be at the front of the line with that.
Oh, he's enjoined in the suit with California. Like
Yes.
North Carolina on the same level as California is crazy.
It is. But I mean, that's where we're tracking towards. I mean, of those nearly 500,000 illegal immigrants, there's 160,000 plus children. So we talk about education, we talk about literacy and funding for education. Well, if we have a drain on the system, what does that look like to our homes, and what does that look like for our children?
I think what is it, a $13 million investment just on language arts alone, something like that. That's nuts.
It's huge. It is absolutely huge. But I can tell you the cost of illegal immigration for us is about $3 billion a year. And for those of you watching, I'm the big property tax guy. And what I know is that's $800 a year per household.
Wow.
And that's a lot of money these days. After 4 years of Democrat leadership in Washington, Democrat leadership here in the governor's mansion, $800 is a boatload of money for a lot of the families in my district.
So talk to me or talk to Sloan and I about what are the next steps? Like, what can the North Carolina legislators do?
Right. So let's put this up. So there was a bill, the Senate bill, basically you would know this, you guys, as the bill that we pushed the hell out of, right, to get the recovery money and to get a few election changes, et cetera. Well, it looks to me, look, I'm not a lawyer, full stop, but it looks to me the powers of the AG had been limited. In other words, he can't go out there and say, I'm going to sue for this next liberal cause at the behalf of North Carolinians, primarily because of what you said, money. If you want to write your own check for $17 million or however much it costs, go write for it.
Exactly. I mean, it looks to me like he doesn't have that prerogative anymore. But if you think about it, they're literally fighting for people's right to come here illegally in the future and have a child, because this is not retroactive. They're literally fighting for the right for our laws to be broken and to continue birth tourism in North Carolina and the United States in general. And I don't think people have quite wrapped their mind around it. He's not suggesting taking away citizenship from anyone who already has it. What the executive order states is that 30 days from yesterday, from then forward, there will be no birthright citizenship. And I don't know that.
Right.
I mean, can you even bring a lawsuit on people who aren't born on behalf of people who aren't born yet? I mean, I'm not certain, and I'm no lawyer, but it doesn't sound like there's something in the milk's not clean.
Well, no, it's rotten actually, because I'll tell you why. So 2 days ago, our governor, Josh Stein, goes out and does all of this ceremonial, largely protection for abortion, right? Wants it, love it, need it, etc. So on the one hand, they want to kill babies. I would imagine American babies.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, the folks that come here for birth tourism, protect them. I mean, am I tracking?
I think you are tracking. And yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. And what we have here is, in the wake of a legend, what the radicals tend to do is come behind that and apply the civil rights and the work that's been done in the past, specifically by Republicans, civil rights, Voting Rights Act, all of those are Republican issues. And they attempt to apply it to other issues. And now we're seeing that Lincoln led an effort that actually freed slaves. And in order to remedy the situation, you had the 14th Amendment. And now radicals again come in and try to apply the privilege of that remedy to others. And this is like a Democrat theme. I mean, me as a Black Republican, I could tell you, I really don't understand the benefit of the Democrat Party to the Black community. And now we're seeing it again, where the good blood, the good efforts of Blacks and whites to make things right is now being applied to people it does not apply to. You know, birthright citizenship has always been about the freed slave. And I thank God for it. However, it's not, the freed slave was not here illegally.
No, that's true. That they were brought here.
They were brought here, and then they were born here, and it was a situation to remedy a wrong, something that no nation does better than the United States. So we have a checkered past, but no one course corrects like America. I mean, we're the greatest social experiment ever. The slave owner and the slave became neighbors. And now what happens is, in wake of that, I don't know if people are looking for a cause or whatever. This is the greatest nation. So I fully understand why people want to be here. I come from an immigrant family, and like they say, most of us do at some point, but my family came here legally. And a lot of families came here legally. And when I speak to Hispanics in my district, they speak to me and they want people to come legally. I have constituents that waited 14 years for their citizenship. And now
a lot of money.
And paid a lot of money, had to learn, had to assimilate in some ways. And now people walk across the border, they're gifted something that is a privilege, right? They're gifted that. And then obviously the child has done nothing, but the child is born with a privilege that literally Blacks had to fight for.
And actually, the fight over resources is real, right? I mean, the fight over resources is real. When we talk about education, when we talk about healthcare, where it's damn near rational. You know, America first means take care of America first. We just talked about Western North Carolina not being taken care of, and yet we are securing the rights of people that should not even be in this country.
Should not even be in this country. And it's amazing how fast they responded, right? How fast they responded. We're going to launch this lawsuit. The guy was just sworn in. And they are ready to simply be disruptive. I don't even know if they believe it has any merit. I read through the lawsuit. I'm not a lawyer. I don't speak all the legalese, but I'm not confident that they believe that this lawsuit actually has merit. They're basically saying because something wrong has been done, it can be done. And I don't know that that's going to hold water. So we're just going to have to see. And hopefully
called a house of cards.
Well,
and hopefully our AG will use his strength to defend our issues and make sure that the state of North Carolina is in compliance with our Constitution and the U.S. Constitution, instead of worrying about fighting Trump in some proxy war that they've already decided to have.
But Brian, here's my question for you. If we know we have a we have a law now that passed in the last session that clearly states we can't spend funds for things like this without approval from the speaker, who's going to bring forth the motion or the argument that this is bad and needs to be rectified?
Now, I can tell you, number one, I just figured out where the stairs are. Okay.
Right. So
yeah. So I'm new. So I just figured out where the stairs are. Number two, I have confidence in Destin Hall.
I could have shown you that.
Yeah, but you got to find him again. The problem is not getting to him once; it's coming back to that building and finding him a second time. But I have confidence in Speaker Hall. He seems to be a stand-up man with good conservative values and a strong sense of right and wrong. And I don't know exactly what can be done when you have an out-of-control AG. However, what can be done, I expect to be done. So I look forward to getting in there next week.
Well, that sounds good. Well, we appreciate you taking some time to weigh in on this. I mean, love your analogy. It gave us a whole new way to look at it. But we'll be talking to you. We're going to be pressuring you guys. I don't think we're going to pressure you.
Hey, and with the rebuild that the people in Western Carolina need, I mean, what does a hole filled with $3.14 million? That's nothing, right? Let's give it to the illegal immigration problem instead of rebuilding our brothers and sisters out there in Western Carolina.
That's what we're
Well,
talking about.
I don't agree since I live here, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
And the truth of the matter is, we're already burdened enough as it is. I don't know what's going on with my mic. I'll have to fix it. She'll have to take me out in a minute. Y'all have a conversation. Throw me off here for a minute so I can fix this.
No, you're
Yeah.
good. You're good. You're
Okay.
fixed now. You're fixed now.
Well, I just feel like, we have enough burdens here.
Yes.
And we have illegals up here. I mean, never in my life have I seen in this small town 3 Hispanic grocery stores. Completely Hispanic grocery stores. We only have one big grocery store in the whole county.
Well, as long as they sell Goya,
That's right.
Oh, you know it.
as long as they have the good Goya products and a few of those exotic fruits, just take advantage of it. Because if it is, the problem is not Hispanics, the problem is illegals, right? So we want to make sure that we draw that line, because what they want to do is pretend that Republicans, conservatives, America first doesn't mean America first. They want to pretend that somehow the agenda is against a group of Americans, whether it be Black, Hispanic, Jewish, or whatever it is.
Tried
And the
any way they
truth
can.
is, that's right. So they just like to bring division. It's their game, right? And the truth is, we have amazing Hispanic businesses, amazing Hispanic neighbors. We have amazing Hispanic legislators like me. And we're not going to let them mar that with their accusations. What we need is legal immigration. Like Trump said, we're going to build a wall. It's going to be a big, beautiful wall with a big, beautiful door, right? And their families can come to the greatest nation on earth like my family did. And that will be an amazing thing.
You need to start the Hispanic Republican Caucus
We have
Vamos.
inside. Yeah. Well, if
in North Carolina.
there'll be one of them right now. We
Nada
need
más hay
more.
uno. Yo soy el único ahora. Pero eso puede cambiar. I said, I'm the only one right now, but that can change.
I was going to say, I can only tell you how to get to the bathroom.
Listen, Albania.
Well, you guys are awesome. Please keep a spotlight on all of these issues. And when we go in there on the 29th, which is our first day in, we're going to find out what's happening. I'll be sure to report to you and let you know.
Okay.
Hey, listen, if you want German lessons for Spanish, I'll trade you.
Maybe we could do that.
I'll throw in the Hebrew. It'll be the UN.
Come on, man. Multicultural, multilingual. I love it.
We're all Republican. All American. All
That
right.
America first. All America first is the right thing. And we're going to make America great again. And then we're going to make America greater than she's ever been. And it's going to be amazing.
Don't forget to make North Carolina great again.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Brian. We'll see you soon.
All right. God bless you.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for stopping in. I just love him.
I know. Well, tonight I'm pointing with a lip gloss. I don't have the pink phone. You get the lip gloss tonight.
You get the blue finger pointer.
Still the blue finger. You know what? You got to change it up, man. You got to change it up. All right. So one thing that he also did was, and by the way, just a little warning, I'm going to get pissed off. Y'all, I'm going to get pissed off because we are going to be talking about Tom Tillis here. But I digress. So, dude. Okay. So I loved what happened last night. He was at the Resolute desk. I mean, he's just kicking it, man. He's like chilling. Yeah, I'm going to sign this. And I love the way he acted. He's like, oh, what do we have here? It's like Santa. What do we have here in the back? You know, he knew what it was, right?
By the way, that gentleman that was handing him and describing the orders is a Yale Harvard grad.
Wait, I don't like Yale. Actually, I don't like Harvard either, but
Well, he got a little bit messed up.
and
Though, 'cause he's
Jewish.
both.
Jewish. So
Yeah.
I'll take it. Okay, so here's what Trump said about J6, okay, and the pardons. Here's what he said.
Your actions today for anybody.
Well, it would be a
who
pardon.
assaulted
That would be a
law
pardon. The one I'm talking about would be a pardon.
Should there be punishment for the people who assaulted law enforcement officers that day?
Well, I will say this, they've been in jail for a long time already. I see murderers in this country get 2 years, 1 year, and maybe no time. So they've already been in jail for a long time. These people have been destroyed. What they've done to these people is outrageous. There's rarely been anything like it in the history of our country. And even people that were aggressive And in many cases, I believe they happen to be outside agitators, but what do I know, right? But I think they were outside agitators. There were outside agitators involved. And obviously the FBI was involved because Ray admitted the FBI was involved. Didn't he say 23 people, indirectly or directly, were involved? And it was in 26? That's a lot of people.
Correct.
Now, we got to take care of these people have been treated so badly. It's never happened before. What happened in Seattle where they took over a big portion of the city? What happened?
Yeah, so he goes on to say, look, there's a demonstrable difference in the pursuit of justice here, right? You've got Antifa people, you got BLM people that have hit cops and spent 2 months, maybe, or less in prison.
Less.
Okay, and I'm going to show you. I mean, this has a real impact. As you know, I know a lot of people. We both know several people who have had to defend their life, basically, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. These are people that make $20,000 a year, and it absolutely ruined their life. And I'm going to tell you about a few North Carolinians that went there, that were nonviolent, and this is one of them. This is one of the first guys who was arrested. His name is John Joseph Carl, Edgecombe County. He's a cop. He literally walked into an open door in the Capitol. Okay, nonviolent, walked in. I was there. I watched the doors being open. There were a couple of ladies who were also arrested, and in fact, a lot of women in Wilmington. This is a mother and daughter who were arrested. They went into, again, an open door in the Capitol. This is Rebecca Marshburn and Kelsey Watkins. But you and I know Justina Gardino, okay, who in October was sitting, she was a campaign manager for a school board member that we've had on the show.
Yeah.
Tasha. So she was sitting in a coffee store, and then the cops, or actually the feds, came up and said, we're going to take you home and you're going to get all of your electronic devices and give them over. She just went into the Capitol. That was it. Open door. And they searched all of her things, and they've done that to so many people, and they found stuff on them. If you search for bad shit, you're going to find bad shit. But I'll tell you this, out of the 1,550 people who have been sentenced, I think only 6 of them got a commutation. In other words, 6 of them did something that warranted not dismissing their charges, but time served. Time served. So we have a friend, a very good friend of the show, Steve Baker, who went through hell. Oh, full disclosure, I was there. Okay. But again, I didn't do anything, but I've been worried every single day until yesterday. I slept great last night. So Steve Baker, a friend of ours, a North Carolinian, is a journalist. He sent me this a little while ago. He sent me his pardon. He's pumped, and we are so pumped for him.
Congratulations.
He was a journalist. He's with Glenn Beck. For the crime of doing journalism, he had to defend himself against, you would say, okay, it's a misdemeanor, no big deal. At the federal level, they made it a damn big deal.
Well, and to think that you're a law-abiding citizen your entire life, you make your living doing journalism. You did journalism with a press jacket on. People knew he was a journalist, and they still made him plead. That's what he had to do, because nobody can afford to go up against the DOJ, the unlimited money pit. So
pardon was coming, but what an MSNBC I saw there. I was there with the press pass too, by the way. But I saw PBS,
CNN,
right? They were all there. How come it is that only we were? Everybody that I was with, by the way, was investigated by the FBI. I'm glad I wasn't. But how come that is? How come only the conservatives for the last 4 years have been arrested and put through the grill? Why?
Oh, we all know why. This was a complete setup. We all know it was. It was to persecute, keep us in fear, shut us down, make sure we didn't protest again. Listen, everything since 2020 happened. has been about making people feel the fear of government control. Because if you fear them, you'll shut your mouth and sit in the corner and do nothing.
Well, that ain't us.
No, it is not.
So
we're the fighters.
We are. And we're ride or dies too, baby. You come for one, you come for all.
That's right.
How it is. So I will say this. This is very strange. So Tom Tillis, if you don't know him, God
Tom
love
with
you.
a T. I mean with an H.
Tom with an H. Wait, Tom with an H, baby. But so he doesn't read the room. So here we are on this high. And look, if you're in the base of the Republican Party, I mean, this is an injustice. I mean, Trump has 37 felonies, right? I mean, the whole theme of this is absolute abusing the justice power to go after us. He comes out today. I'm gonna try not to cuss. All right. He comes out today. He comes out today, and here's what he says.
We're trying to go through it right now, but obviously,
it's everybody.
What I'm trying to do is figure out there are some commutations. To me, I just can't agree. I'm about to file 2 bills that will increase the penalties up to and including the death penalty for the murder of a police officer and inclling the penalties for committing federal crimes for assaulting a police officer. That should give you everything you need to know about my position. Look, it was surprising to me that it was a blanket pardon.
Okay, and then here's what he said last week. The man,
a lot of law enforcement officers, who were injured. I find it hard to believe that the President of the United States or you would look at facts that were used to convict the violent people on January the 6th and say it was just an intemperate moment. That I don't even expect you to respond to that, but I think it's an absurd and unfair.
Okay, so he's using a red herring of violent. And we know that now because he went on to say blanket pardons. No one got a blanket pardon that was violent. Again, 6 people out of
1,500, 1,600 almost.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a red herring. But he did, to be fair, he did go on in the discussion and say,
I don't care what he says.
I don't. But okay. But
I don't care what he says.
What about the murder of Ashley Babbitt? What about this? I'm gonna put this on stage.
Save her life, please.
Save her life, please.
Please save somebody.
Very hard to see.
So we have Capitol Police that got off scot-free with killing Ashley Babbitt, Rosemary Boylan, and I personally saw, and I had the footage of it, people being shot in the face with rubber bullets. People were beaten. What about their actions going unpunished?
Well, it's funny that one of the guys that got hit in the face like that is actually a friend of mine, Philip. And he has just wanted to be pardoned. That's all he's wanted. He's worked really, really hard for the last, 3 years to be pardoned because he's already been injured. And he knew that, what happened to him was unprovoked. He was in a crowd. He didn't do anything. He was standing in a crowd below the Capitol steps when he was shot in the face. So, I think that, like I've said about this, it's the same thing as Elon with the so-called Nazi signal. I think the DOJ has learned to weaponize pictures for what their purpose is, and they're taken out of context and not reviewed appropriately. And a lot of these people are being punished unnecessarily or too much.
Yeah. Why isn't he? Right. Why? Here's the issue. All anything isn't good. All teachers aren't perfect. All cops aren't perfect, etc. But I have to tell you, my attitude towards cops has changed, and I think I'm going to on Thursday. I'm going to show everybody the video of my arrest.
Well, I think people need to understand what happened. I think Thursday is a good place to start to talk about all of it, not just the video.
That's correct. But we need to talk in this country about both sides of the equation because people, any organization that has people in it, guess what? It's going to be imperfect by definition. There's people in it. But for Tom Tillis to stand up there and say, I'm with the cops, I'm with the cops, and present, he also presents himself as the expert on January 6th. Did you know that? He's weighed in on it dozens of times.
I did not know that. I was not aware of that. But I do think it's important on Thursday's show we talk about the double standard in the justice system, whether it's in civil court or a federal court or criminal court.
I think that is a capital idea. I really do.
I will. I'll bring my own newspaper clippings for you, Sloan.
Listen, when you're in this business and you're a conservative and you tell it like it is, there's going to be some shit. We know it. We know it. But hey, listen, while I was out there trolling Tom with a T today, and he was getting his ass handed to him on X, this announcement comes out. He's hired Abby Roche as his campaign manager for his 2026 race. Good, Tom. Good. I hope she tells you to shut the hell up and what party you're running with.
I'm just going to say this out loud. Whoever is a qualified Republican candidate, we are on your side if you're against him. So if you want to hire us, we're in.
Well, I do have a pretty good track record of running campaigns in this state.
I know. I've voluntold you without the contract for now.
We could have some fun. Okay, speaking of fun, and I mean, I'm getting ready to have fun. I'm damn giddy about this one. Protecting the U.S. from foreign terrorists and from other national security threats. Okay, this is about visas. And I'm going to make this case, and we have Sean coming on in a second. But so basically it's saying, listen, I'm going to break this down. It's like the United States has an obligation to make sure that people we let in here are not going to threaten others. I mean, you even told me up in Cherokee County, there's some concern with gang stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. And we know it comes from, we have casinos here. Let's be honest. It's coming from Atlanta and from Tennessee. It comes across the border.
Yes. Right. So if people are here on F1 visas, J1 visas, et cetera, they're here, then, and they have, bad intent here, this needs to be taken. So here's a big one. So I found this interesting. So if you come in here from a different country and you're getting in the way of somebody's First Amendment rights, let's say you're a foreigner wearing a keffiyeh in a grocery store, and you are getting in the way of someone's First Amendment rights when they complain about you online, for instance, your ass is going to be bounced out of here. So I put this up today. I got to get this guy out of here. He's from Jordan. I don't know what his citizen status is, but he's at UNC, and he's leading this Islamic protest group. He's terrorizing the professors. You can see he's beating one up there. And I just told him he's getting ready to have a bad day. Now, you sent me this and others. So check this out. Now, because of Biden, we're in the business of exporting terror. So there's a terror attack a couple of days ago in Israel, and 4 Israelis were stabbed. Well, that dude was a Moroccan and accepted into this country under a cultural visa. This is a lottery thing. So this is an AI overview of that. Do you know much about this program?
I do. As a matter of fact, I have a friend from Ireland who won this lottery before they changed the cultural diversity points involved in it. So it used to be open to almost any country. But in the last 5 years, since Biden's taken office, they have taken out most white Europeans. You can't come if you're from Ireland, England, none of those. So they will take you from Croatia and some communist countries, but the majority of it is open to Pakistanis, Indians. I mean, they have really narrowed the field in the last 4 years of who can be a part of the lottery. And the lottery goals are set a year or 2 years in advance. I can't remember which, but it's immediate. If you win the lottery, you're an immediate citizen, immediate for the visa, transition into citizenship.
Okay.
And a friend of mine, a friend of mine came from Ireland, won this. He was 18, and I think he was like 21. He was in medical school in Ireland and won the lottery, and his parents and his 10 brothers and sisters said, go. And he's an example of someone who came over and did something really well with his life. He became a pulmonologist, a very well-known, renowned pulmonologist, just because he won the lottery. But he wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to work with the doctors and the people that he did had he not been able to come to America. So it worked out. But that's not what it is now.
I've known, people that get asylum here and turn out to be fantastic people. That's great. But we shouldn't be playing a lottery and a roulette game, essentially, with who we let in here. So the F1 visas, if you're in this EO does say, okay, we're going to review countries that are problematic, and we're going to look at scaling back those. Exactly what my wish list. So we've got a list of, about 237 people right now, but who's counting in North Carolina that we're going to be forwarding to, and I will tell you who the two people responsible for doing this, just so everyone knows how this works. Let me get this up here. So the departments involved would be Bondi and Rubio. I'm not worried about Bondi. This is the temporary DOJ. This is Trump's handpicked guy, big into immigration. But here's her team. So Harmeet Dillon will be in the Department of Civil Rights under Bondi. Leo Terrell will also be in civil rights with her. And so that's who's going to help vet. In addition to Tony Bacon, she came out of upstate New York. So she's a prosecutor in upstate New York, but definitely a Trump acolyte. So I think there's a good, group to go after. And I think they've been thinking about these things for a while.
Well, we need to think about it. I have to tell you, when you start culling out which countries can be a part of the diversity or the lottery portion, and you say we're only going to allow people from specific continents, and you leave out one gigantic one, Europe mostly, you're not being fair. You're not playing the game right. And that if we're not going to play fair, then why are we playing?
Well, I mean, it's suicidal empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Also, Australia was not allowed in the lottery either.
Yeah. Well, the Canadians
have never been participants in the lottery in the last 7 years.
Well, all right. Well, that's we're going to, immigration is what we really, really care about, but we also care about what happened at all the MAGA balls.
Oh, look who's here.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so pumped. I'm so jealous. I've been indie scrolling you.
Well, I will say my voice is going to sound a little bit different because I have been screaming a lot this weekend. So it's practically gone, but I am so excited to be here and to talk to you guys about this absolutely incredible experience that I am so grateful for.
You didn't even pack until the morning of or the night before.
I didn't pack till this morning. I'm at the airport right now, which is why I'm in this room. But no, I woke up this morning. Now, I will tell you, I did not go to sleep last night. I didn't get back to my room until 3:45. I got back to my room at 3:45. I went to sleep. I set my alarm to wake up to make it to my flight. And I guess in my sleep, I turned it off. So I missed my flight this morning. So we're here now. Yes, there I am.
Having the most fun ever. Look at you guys.
Where were you? What ball?
So that photo right there is at the Liberty Ball, which was absolutely incredible. Jason Aldean was there and he performed. And he actually, poor guy, was up on stage, and I think they called him over his mic, and they told him, you have to keep going because Trump was 2 hours behind.
Wait a minute. I'm not going to scroll with this on. You got some wild shit on here.
There's that one. That's the Liberty Ball. That's at the Liberty Ball.
Wow, it's packed.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, guys, there had to be a couple thousand people there.
And it was freezing too, wasn't it?
Guys, I thought that my toes fell off of my feet. To the point that actually, I was pulling the National Guard people to the side, and I'm like, hey, there are some elderly people in this line. You've got to get them and pull them to the front. Because there were some very elderly people, And I was getting concerned because my feet were frozen solid. I swear they were like blocks of ice. So I'm telling the National Guard, I don't know if it was National Guard or MPs, but I'm like, you have to get these people from
But the
back in the
Capitol Police
gotta
wasn't.
get 'em out.
Yeah, we just called them everything but a child of God here. So wasn't Capitol
So-
Police.
So you went to more than one ball, right?
No, I only went to the Liberty Ball. I had tickets to another ball. I didn't go because by the time that Trump made it to the Liberty Ball, I think he went to the Commander-in-Chief ball first, then the Liberty. But the tickets that anyways, I basically was just like, we got to get out of here before, because you're about to have 30,000 people. You're about to have 30,000 people all trying to exit at the same time. So I was like, I'm going to get out before any more people are trying to leave.
So what else did you do?
Oh,
Sorry,
guys,
Sloan, I have to know.
we did a lot. We started. We did.
Margaret, listen, be careful what you ask.
We did a bunch.
He rated. What else did you do?
We did a bunch of different log cabin events. Okay, we had some log cabin events. We had log cabin watch party on Inauguration Day. I attended that. We had a log cabin brunch right before that. We did Power 30, which was an incredible event. It was very cool. It was influencer focused. So basically the whole concept behind it was like, let's get all the influencers /
Was Conservative Ant there?
He was not. He didn't make it up to the inauguration. I know. I've been calling him, texting him. I'm like, are we going? But he did not make it up to the inauguration. He had prior commitments, but there were a lot of people there. It was really cool to be able to see all these people in one place. And honestly, if I could summarize the whole weekend, I think when we've talked about, because we've talked about the RNC on this podcast before, and what that felt like, and I've described it as electric, and the energy was unmatched, and it felt to me like the best thing that I could just compare it to is like a high school pep rally. This to me felt like the grad party. This was the graduation party the entire weekend, and what it was for me at least, it was about celebrating the fact that we have put a lot of work into this. Like, we were out passing out, voter guides. We were out at the, trying to get people registered to vote.
Remember when you dressed in a trash bag?
Yes, to hand out voter guides and remind everyone, one of the parties on this ticket thinks that you're garbage. The other one believes in us and wants us to succeed. So this to me was the graduation party. It was we've done all the work. We made it, we succeeded, and it's time for us to celebrate. And that's what I think everyone was doing.
It was for winners.
Right.
Yeah.
Winners. But here's who's a loser. And guess what? I keep saying this guy's a loser. But do you know what happened to this guy, Margot?
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. So his whole world kitchen thing, this is one of the best losers that's out now. Trump canned this guy immediately. This guy is a grifter from way back, and it turns out that his world kitchen, I don't know how much we were giving to them, but 25% of the staff did October 7th. So not only was he up in Western North Carolina grifting, they're also full of terrorists. So Trump isn't not playing around. And I'm sure that you saw the inauguration, you saw all the festivities. Did you see this?
That's Jeff
I
Bezos'
did.
girlfriend.
Okay.
You had people coming out today calling her out on this as inappropriate.
Well, here's what I want to know. I have to ask. Here's what I think. Even a gay man is hardwired to look at their breasts.
Yeah. Especially from a fashion perspective, like I saw this and I was like, that it looks great to wear
at a
to
disco,
like a Met Gala.
No,
you're looking at it purely fashion. Okay.
Oh yeah, because I mean, like
men were not.
No, but I do think that it was exceptionally. This is what I would say. It was very distasteful, and I feel like that's a trend with her. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that she's the classiest person that that exists
Come
out
on,
there.
she was banging Bezos when he was married.
Here's what Megyn Kelly said. This is kind of a
Megyn Kelly ripped her apart.
And this PR agent went off on our booker. They're so angry because they represent her or they do some business with her, and she had, talked to them, whatever. It's like those two don't like to be made fun of.
Yep.
He's done a lot to change his look. He looks nothing like he looked 20 years ago. I don't think she's seen a doctor. She doesn't want to go under the scalp. I mean, you tell me. That's not natural.
No.
And that's fine if that's your choice, but have some dignity and some respect for your setting in your circumstances. No one should be talking about your tits. Sorry. They should be talking about the inauguration. Jeff Bezos.
Okay. I think kind of that's what you said.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it was very distasteful, and quite frankly, I think it's disrespectful. The inauguration it's ceremonial. This is something that we've done every 4 years, and every 4 years we're celebrating, and this is about respect for Donald Trump right now. And for the party. And I frankly think that it's disrespectful, and more than anything, it's distasteful.
Sean, she put the two pictures next to each other. I have to tell you, I have two thoughts about Melania. First of all, she's totally classy. I love her. She had on entirely American designer inspired outfit, but there are some angles in this outfit where I go, if she would have had a large Hermes purse, I would have been singing the Mary Poppins song.
You said Birkin bag,
whatever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I do think what we do have to understand too is historically in the past. So I believe that outfit was that Oscar.
Yeah. Not this one. The one before her. The
one before was Oscar
outfit was Oscar. This one was the
light
designer.
Okay, who was it?
Small designer out of New York City. Very small. Adam, I can't remember his last name. She wore Sarah Flint's shoes, which I was very proud of her for because that's a young designer out of New York City as well. The hat was done by one New York. They're all young New York fashion designers.
Well, so first of all, what I love is that all of it, from what I read, was all American designers that had created this outfit, which is just absolutely exceptional, and I support. The other thing that I think is worth noting is that fashion precedes like mainstream. So, and I know this because part of my background is in apparel and was in fashion, but you have the curve of it starts with up and coming. So what she's doing right now is she's actually setting trends.
Like Jackie O.
Yes, and Jackie O did the same thing, and everyone.
Remember the cigarette dress, and it became the thing.
Well, Melania did that, and that.
There are always critics. There are always critics of First Lady's apparel. I mean, even when Jackie O was wearing what she was wearing, people were critiquing this and criticizing it. But years later and decades later, we all look back and we're like, wow, they were so ahead of their time, because these are the trendsetters. These are the people who set the trends. So I think she looked phenomenal. I do wish she would have tilted the hat up. Just
it was all intentional.
Trump went to kiss her. Ron could not go in for a kiss.
But I have to say, I love that Ivanka and Melania both wore hats, like very British, very traditional, very Lady Di feel. And I kind of like you couldn't see her eyes. I kind of like that she could give you the daggers and you wouldn't know it.
And you wouldn't know. Well, I think that what they did from a fashion perspective is they elevated themselves into a status that I think I would term or coin like American royalty. It feels very royal, doesn't it? Very royal, very British royal. But in a way where we've got the Ivanka with the blonde pulled back tight. We've got Melania with the hat on. It felt very royal.
I want that. The pink, love it.
Usha's outfit.
Now that was Oscar That was Oscar.
It was. Her shoes were, I think, Miu Miu's, or I might be wrong about that, but she looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
But what I think is notable,
the black dress she wore in the ball was definitely Oscar De La Renta.
So what I think is notable, though, the conversation that we should be having with the few minutes that I have left is that I'm getting kicked out of the airport. What the conversation that I do think that we should be having, though, is let's think back to 2017, sorry, at the inauguration in 2017.
I was there.
No one wanted to dress her. No one wanted to.
Tom
and
Ford
now-
did, right?
No, it's Ralph Lauren. It was Ralph Lauren.
But I remember Tom Ford being willing at the time. I'm not sure. I remember.
I don't remember exactly, but I know that there were a lot of people who did not want to dress her.
And still didn't throughout the whole 4 years.
And now let's contrast that to what's happening today, which is everyone wants to dress her, and Oscar doesn't care. They're getting the comments on their Instagram is insane.
People are buying them they're buying them out of Nordstrom's.
So you've got people saying F you, and you've got people like, we're only shopping here right now.
Honey. Those people that are saying that, I want to tell you something. They would never wear that kind of stuff. These are the people that don't, that hygiene isn't their top priority. Just want to one thing, let you know, did you know that Trump is a huge homophobe? Were you aware?
I know, that's why I helped the man get elected.
It's just, yeah, this is our new.
And this is one of my close friends, by the way, David Leatherwood, the Brokeback Patriot. You guys should go follow him. He's an incredible friend of mine. Great guy. Yeah, he is. I knew you guys were friends. I was putting this on here. So, here's our new Treasury Secretary, and there's his husband sitting right behind him. So I just thought. And they live in the iconic pink house in South Carolina.
And I think he's originally from North Carolina or South Carolina.
Yeah, I think he's from one of the Carolinas, definitely.
Jim waiting. Okay, Jim said, so they're right. And actually, I commented on the camps. Yeah, you said you weren't letting progressive white women into the camps. So no. I think if you had to go to a camp, you'd be okay besides that. But yeah.
I have been told that my pickup time is tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. So I get back home tonight at around midnight. And tomorrow at 9 a.m., they're sending a bus. And by bus, I mean an Escalade to come pick me up to take me to the internment camp.
They're rounding up the gays.
Do you get to
all that I'm going to say is, if you haven't registered yet, you got to get registered for some of the excursions. Make sure that you book the unlimited bar package, and the Wi-Fi is not free. You've got to add it on when you book.
Okay, he's joking because I'm gonna have people contacting me about how to book it. They won't get it, but
I just want to make sure you take more than one pair of Ferragamos.
Oh, we've got my closet. We're ready. All the shoes are packed.
It's so good to see you. Are you going to make yourself a regular? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yes, I'm ready. So now I finally feel like I can breathe. I was moving out of my house into an apartment down in Charlotte. My house is sold. Everything's done. We're finally moved. We're closed. Right after that, I had like 48 hours between that. I didn't even have 48 hours. I had like 30 hours between being done with that and getting on a plane to come here for the inauguration. That's done. But when we get back home tomorrow, we're back to business. I'm ready to be a regular. We're going to be working on the apparel line, and we're ready to go.
All right.
Yep. Great. Safe travels. Stay out of trouble between here and there, and we will see if you suffer through everything tomorrow morning.
I will try. If I need bail money, I'm going to call you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for having me. We'll be in contact soon.
All right. Take care, Sean.
Bye.
How do you not love him?
I love him, and I've been living vicariously through him. I've been, vacillating this weekend between doom scrolling and looking at all my friends who are at the inaugural parties. And
yeah, I got asked a lot why I didn't go. And I just have to tell you guys, first of all, I was born up in Bethesda at the Naval Hospital. It's not my jam. I went to school at West Virginia University. I spent lots of time up there. Even my daughter who cheered for the Ravens, I didn't go up there and hang out there. It's just that's not my vibe. I'm not a DC kind of girl.
We're not. We do NC political tea.
That's right.
NC, not DC. Well, look, we have so much more to cover, but we're going to have to end now. But all this is to say, look, we've got a lot of EOs. I mean, we've got, 200 between the EOs he signed, new policies, etc. Oh, and by the way, I want to get your take on this. I think really it was less about putting laws into place and more about stopping wacky shit.
I think he wanted to set the tone up front. I think his goal is to set the tone, change the complete dynamic so that there's a momentum for the Senate and the House to get shit done.
Yeah. But the things he stopped, like half of them were, okay, no more boys in the bathroom, no more I mean, in other words,
but those are all reasons people voted.
That's right. Right. I mean, we as Republicans went for the low-hanging fruit because nobody in the Democrat Party, they were so whacked out. They had no idea that the stuff that we're doing is so absolutely perverse. And look, even at a base level, you'd have to say the opportunity cost. Wow. All of this worrying about restrooms, this, that, and the other. And our whole city burned down, California, sadly. So it was half between that. And I just think that if he just focuses on making the government do the rudimentary things it's supposed to do, that's a win. It's easy.
Sloan, I think there's another take you can have, and that is 2026 is another set of elections that we may not keep the House and Senate. We've got to get as much done, packed in as quickly as we can, because those races are starting now. The momentum is now toward them. So we've got to get as much done while we have all these majorities before we have the next set of races.
When you're in politics, ladies and gentlemen, there's never any rest. Never. We just had the inauguration, right? I mean, getting calls. Who's going to primary this? Who's going to? Yeah. So you're right. And by the way, that's why we need all of you. So I want you to share the show, tune in. We're going to have guests galore every single time, and we love you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. And see you in the Punch Bowl.
Yes. What time is that again?
8 to 11 for me. 8 to 11
on X. 8 to 11.
Yeah, Saturdays from 9 till 12.
Okay, you can just pop in. You can listen. You don't have to participate. Okay, bye, guys. Yep. Stay warm. See you Thursday, same time.
Toodles.
Bye.
That's a wrap on today's NC Political Tea. We hope you're leaving sharper, spicier, and ready to take on the political craziness in the Tar Heel State. If you loved what you heard, or even if it made you mad, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this show with your friends, family, and that one coworker who just needs the truth. Follow us on social media to stay in the loop and get your daily dose of conservative fire. And remember, here in North Carolina, the grassroots grows stronger when we stand together. Until next time, keep the faith, keep up the fight, and don't let the left water down your tea. This is NC Political Tea, where we spill it like it is.